I messed up. I recovered, but I still messed up. Let me tell you about it. I'm usually really careful about how I prepare for weddings. Provided I don't have an event the day before, that's when I'll finalize charging my batteries, packing up my gear, making sure there's gas in my car, and ironing my clothes. About a week before that, I type up the list of family pictures and put that information together into what I think is an efficient running order. I'll take small groups and build them up, or take large groups and break them down, minimizing to the best of my ability people coming in and out of each group. Efficiency is the name of the game, and I spend some time with it. That list is based on information I receive from the couple when I have my final meeting with them 3 to 4 weeks prior to the big day. I type it up and send it to them earlier in the week before their wedding day so they have an opportunity to proofread it, to make sure I have everyone's names correct and they can make changes that they'd like. Maybe they forgot to mention somebody during our final meeting, or someone at the last minute isn't coming and we can take them off the list. None of this is ever written in stone, and there are often requests on the day to add more people or another group, so I do my best to be flexible, all in a day's work. I print out a few copies of this list, not only for myself to work from, but also so I can hand them out to a previously designated family member or planner. I don't know who all the people on the list are, so I make it their responsibility to assign someone to wrangle those family members and bring them to where we're doing the formals. At times, not everyone understands the assignment, and it's not uncommon to discover that someone has wandered off and are now holding up the show. Having a physical list is handy, so if I do have to wait for anyone, I can just move on to the next group, checking them off as I go along. Like I've done every wedding day over the past 20 years or so, I have my formals printouts and my itinerary printouts right next to my wallet and mints and other things that go into my pockets. I'm not exactly sure what happened this past weekend, but when I got to the venue and reached for my list, it was nowhere to be found. I'm not going to lie, I did freak out a little bit on the inside. It was a small list of groups, but more than I could have committed to memory, which I wouldn't have done anyway because I always have a printout. Except today, for the first time ever, the printout wasn't with me. I thankfully discovered this before my coverage officially started, so I had a little bit of time to figure this out. I checked all the pockets and in my camera bag and went back to my car to see if maybe it was there, but as you probably guessed, it was not. Since I'd emailed the couple a PDF of that list, I figured I could go into my phone and download it from there, except that the nested folders into which I organized my emails weren't showing up on my phone. My inbox was fine, but the email histories weren't available. With the time to the ceremony counting down, I had a small window of opportunity to ask the groom if he could go into his phone and reply to the email I'd sent him and send the PDF back to me. Naturally, there is very low connectivity in the area, so the email failed to send. Sometimes high-tech problems require a low-tech solution. I had him pull up the PDF on his phone and I took a picture of it with mine. Problem solved. True, I wouldn't be able to check off groups that I had already done, but because it was a modest number, I was able to keep things in my head as I went along, which came in handy since we did have to wait for a couple of stragglers here and there. What am I now going to add to my wedding day pre-flight checklist? Making sure there's a copy of the itinerary and the formals list on my phone, as well as having physical printouts. And what did I find after I came home from the wedding? Yes, a little orange cat happy to see me, but also a small pile of printouts that were right where they should have been that I somehow overlooked earlier in the day. In the moment, I did my best to keep a level head and not let anyone see me sweating it. Oh, I was sweating it on the inside, but I did my best to keep the pressure to myself. This could have gone much worse, and at the end of the day, all was well. No matter how long I've been doing this, I keep finding ways to improve the process. Unfortunately, sometimes it does take messing up, or almost messing up, to find those cracks in the system. This is the way. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your taking the time to listen. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a like. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. How about you? Have you had any close calls where you were able to recover? Feel free to share in the comments. If you'd like to see more videos like this and hear more stories, check this one out. This is Ask a Wedding Photographer. I'm Seth Kaye, and I'm here to help.